Hello! Here we are, another episode. I am back in Illustrator today, and I wanted to show everybody how to make a pattern. This is a question that I have seen on a lot of different groups in Slack and Facebook, and it's something that I really like to do for brands. I think it's a fun, unique way to always have your brand at the forefront, even when you have just regular brand photos and things. To have that background of a pattern really helps catch people's eye, and yeah, just is a good way to keep advertising for yourself even with stock photos. So what I can do is we have this first artboard here, which I show you an existing pattern. And so it is the logo in the middle and then has social media on one side and the website on the other. So I'm going to show you quickly, now that we have a revised logo, how to then create a new pattern, right? So we'll just quickly go through this. Again, I'm using Adobe Illustrator. So if you don't have that, I'm not really sure in what other products you can make it, although I think there are tons of other tools out there, but today's will focus on Adobe Illustrator. So what you want to do is start with the placement and what you want to include in the pattern. So for this purpose, I'm not going to use the submark. We can make a separate pattern with that, but I'm not going to use that right now. So I'm just going to drag that over to another artboard to kind of get it out of the way. And then I'm going to take the main mark here and I'm going to center that. And you can do that a variety of ways. You can use the alignment tools at the top. Some people like to just drag and drop, whatever your preference. So once you have that centered, I come on over and add in some type, and we're just going to type in the social media. And we're going to type in the website. Oh boy, spelling errors. It's a pet peeve and a good tip. Always make sure you are spell checking. You never can be too cautious about that. So once you have those things typed out, and real quick tip for everyone listening, if you want to duplicate things, all the normal functions work in Illustrator. If you're not real familiar with it, you can just kind of copy and paste, and that'll save you a lot of time, especially when it comes to styling and those kinds of things. Okay, so we've got everything typed out, and we're just going to go back to our select tool. We're going to make these a little bit more readable. Now, at this point, you can absolutely adjust the font to be whatever font you want it. Adobe has a great resource of free fonts. So you would do that up at the top here. You could search for any font that you wanted, really, and a whole bunch of different classifications. So for this, I'm just going to stick with what we have because it's simple and easy. So what I do from there is then line up things right in the middle. And again, this isn't the only way you can do this. It's just the way that I have found to do it and the style that I like. So that's the great thing about design. There's lots of different ways you can do things and reach the same result. So once you have all of that lined up in the center, you can again make sure that things are lined up. Oops. And if you do that, just hit Command Z. I hit align and hit the wrong align and everything went in the center. So once I have everything, what I think is in center, I select all of the objects, and then you're going to want to vertical align center to make sure everything's centered. So once you have that, you're going to come on up here to your object. And once you're under the object menu, you're going to come down to pattern and make. This is kind of where the fun stuff happens. And you'll see instantly it kind of brings up a default pattern. Usually it's pretty squished together. It doesn't really look great, but there are tons and tons of options under here that you can play with to create whatever pattern you want. Really, there is just no limit. So you're going to want to name it. I usually name it the brand, but I've probably done that a couple of times. So we're going to call it a different name. So under the tile type, you have grid, you have brick by row, brick by column, hex by column, and hex by row. So currently it's selected at grid, but I like the brick by row because you can offset things. So you can go as little as a quarter, or you can make it as large as 4/5. So really you can, go nuts, and it depends on the aesthetic that you're going for. I tend to like it a little bit scattered, so I pick 2/3. Width and height, again, are really places you can play with. So it's going to come in with the width and height that it is currently, right? That area that you selected. So the 3 objects that you currently have, the logo, the website, and the Instagram name, or whatever social media name you're using, that's going to be what your default setting is. Easy to adjust that. You can type in whatever you want. I usually go up in the width, again, until I see that the pattern looks like how I want it visually on the screen. So in this case, it's coming in over a little over 1052 pixels. So I'll probably go to 1200 for my width, and my height is at a little over 120. And so for that, I'm going to adjust it. Let's try 200. And you can see it's very spaced out. So that might have been a little bit too much. We'll back it down maybe 25 pixels to 175. Still seems a little spread out height-wise. So we'll just keep going down, and you'll see that it's great because you can see what it's going to look like, how things look, and maybe you don't like the 2/3 anymore. That doesn't really look great. You're going to see, oh, okay, maybe offset by a half is a little bit better and more what we're going for. So I'm really happy with that. I've set my width at 1200 pixels, my height at 150 pixels. It is an offset brick by brick row by a half. And all you're going to do is come up here to the top where it says done and hit that. Now, you're thinking, oh my gosh, where did it go? No problem. It's over here in your swatches panel. So if you don't have your swatches panel open, you can come down to swatches, click that, it will pop out, and it will be there in your panel. Want to see it in action? Yes, me too. So what I'm going to do is move all of these current words over, if it'll let me, to my other artboard so I can show you right here in the middle what this looks like. So we're going to create a nice rectangle, cover the whole thing, and we're going to fill it. So you go over to your fill menu. There we go. There we go. And now you can see you have a brand new updated pattern with your logo. So you can come over here and play with your opacity and bring that down maybe to 6, 7, 8, whatever you think looks good. So it's just kind of a visual reminder in the background, re-enhances your brand, and now you have your template for throwing any pictures on top. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to follow along weekly in between. And if you have any ideas that you'd like me to help with, just reach out. You know how to get a hold of me. Bye.